The morning sun cast long shadows across the rocky shore of Kepler 442b, as Dr. Yuna Kim walked carefully between the tidal pools. Her boots made soft splashing sounds in the shallow water that remained after the tide went out. She carried her research kit in one hand and a sample container in the other. This was her favorite time of day on this strange new world. The air was clean and salty, much like Earth's oceans, but the two moons hanging in the pale sky reminded her she was very far from home. Yuna had been studying the marine life on this planet for 6 months now. The research station where she lived was small and lonely, built on a cliff overlooking the endless ocean. She was the only human for hundreds of light years. The company that sent her here wanted to know if this world was safe for human settlement. So far, everything seemed normal. The water was clean, the fish were harmless, and the weather was mild. She knelt beside a large tidal pool and began taking water samples. The pool was deeper than most, carved into the black rock by countless years of waves. Strange purple seaweed swayed gently in the clear water. Small fish with silver scales darted between the rocks. Yuna smiled as she watched them. Life always found a way to be beautiful, no matter what world it grew on. As she worked, something caught her eye at the far end of the pool. At first she thought it was just another piece of seaweed moving in the current, but there was no current in the still water. She moved closer, stepping carefully on the slippery rocks. What she saw made her heart skip a beat. A creature unlike anything in her research files was struggling weakly near the bottom of the pool. It was about the size of a human child, with smooth skin that shifted from deep blue to pale green. Its body was long and graceful, built for swimming. But what made Yuna gasp were the patches of soft light that pulsed along its sides and back. The lights flickered weakly, like a dying flashlight. The creature had gills that opened and closed rapidly on its neck. Yuna could see it was in trouble. The water level in the pool was dropping as the tide went out. Soon, there would not be enough water for the creature to breathe. Yuna set down her equipment and studied the situation. Her training told her not to interfere with alien life forms. The rules were clear: observe but do not touch. Record but do not change. Let nature take its course. But as she watched, the creature turned its head toward her. Its eyes were large and dark, filled with an intelligence that made her chest tighten. This was not just an animal. This was a thinking being. And it was afraid. The creature made a soft sound, almost like a whistle mixed with a sigh. Its webbed hands pressed against the rocky bottom as it tried to push itself toward deeper water, but it was too weak. The glowing patches on its skin grew dimmer with each passing moment. Yuna looked around the empty shore. There was no one to ask for advice, no one to tell her what to do. The nearest human was months away by space travel. She was alone with her choice. The creature whistled again, softer this time. Its gills fluttered desperately as the water continued to drop. Yuna made her decision. She rolled up her sleeves and stepped into the cold water. The creature did not try to run away. Instead, it watched her with those dark, intelligent eyes. Yuna moved slowly, speaking in a gentle voice even though she knew it could not understand her words. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'm going to help you." She slid her hands carefully under the creature's body. Its skin was smooth and warm, not cold like a fish. The glowing patches pulsed brighter at her touch, as if responding to her presence. The creature was heavier than she expected, but she managed to lift it from the shallow water. The moment she picked it up, something amazing happened. The creature's skin began to glow more brightly, and the lights formed patterns that moved like waves across its body. It made a series of musical sounds that almost seemed like language. Its large eyes focused on her face with unmistakable gratitude. Yuna carried the creature to a deeper pool nearby, one that would stay full even at low tide. As she lowered it into the water, it swam a quick circle, testing its new home. Then it surfaced and looked up at her again. The glowing patterns on its skin pulsed in what looked like a happy rhythm. For several minutes, they simply looked at each other. Yuna knelt by the edge of the pool while the creature floated just below the surface. She had never seen anything so beautiful or so clearly intelligent. This was not just another sea animal. This was someone, not something. The creature dove to the bottom of the pool and returned with a small, perfectly round shell. It held the shell up to Yuna, offering it to her. She reached out and took the gift, and the creature's lights pulsed brighter in response. "Thank you," Yuna whispered Dot as if it understood. The creature made a final musical sound and swam away, disappearing into the deeper waters beyond the tidal pools. Yuna watched until she could no longer see its glowing form in the dark water. She looked down at the shell in her hand. It was unlike any shell she had ever seen, with spiral patterns that seemed to shift and change in the light. She carefully placed it in her sample bag, next to her scientific instruments. Walking back to her research station, Yuna felt different. She had broken the rules by helping the creature, but she knew in her heart it was the right thing to do. As she climbed the path up the cliff, she did not notice the dark shapes moving in the deeper water offshore, or the way they seemed to be following her that night. As she wrote her daily report, Yuna left out any mention of the glowing creature. Some things, she decided, were too important to share with the company. At least not yet. Outside her window, the ocean glowed softly under the light of the twin moons, and somewhere in those depths, a rescued child was telling its family about the strange land dweller who had shown it kindness. 3 days had passed since Yuna saved the glowing creature from the tidal pool. She found herself returning to that same spot every morning, hoping to see it again. The beautiful shell it had given her sat on her desk in the research station, catching the light from the twin suns and casting rainbow patterns on the walls. On this particular morning, the ocean was unusually calm. The waves barely whispered against the rocky shore, and the air felt heavy with moisture. Yuna walked along her usual path, collecting samples and recording water temperatures. Everything seemed normal until she reached the deeper pools near the point where she had rescued the creature. The water was moving strangely. First, Yuna thought it might be a school of fish swimming beneath the surface, but the movement was too organized, too purposeful. Dark shapes glided through the water with silent grace, their forms too large to be any fish she had catalogued on this world. She knelt by the water's edge and watched carefully. The shapes moved in patterns that reminded her of a search party. They would spread out, then come together, then spread out again. They were looking for something. Suddenly, one of the shapes broke the surface. Yuna's breath caught in her throat. The head that emerged from the water was clearly related to the small creature she had saved, but this one was much larger. An adult, its skin was the same shifting blue-green color, but darker and more complex in its patterns. The creature's large eyes scanned the shore until they found her. For a long moment they stared at each other across the water. Then the adult made a series of musical sounds, much deeper than the whistles of the young one. More shapes appeared at the surface. Soon, Yuna was looking at 6 adult creatures, all watching her with intense curiosity. One of them, larger than the others with intricate silver markings along its neck, swam closer to shore. Its bioluminescent patches pulsed in slow, rhythmic patterns. When it spoke, the sounds were clearly language. Though Yuna could not understand the words, she reached slowly for the translation device clipped to her belt. It was designed to work with any form of communication, using artificial intelligence to find patterns and build understanding. As she activated it, the device made soft beeping sounds. The creatures in the water stopped talking and listened to the beeps with obvious interest. The large one with silver markings tilted its head and made a questioning sound. Yuna spoke carefully into the device. "Hello, can you understand me?" The translation device worked for several seconds, then began producing a series of musical tones similar to the creature's own sounds. The effect on the aliens was immediate. They began talking excitedly among themselves, their lights flashing in complex patterns. The silver-marked leader swam even closer and spoke directly to the device. After a moment, Yuna heard the translated words through her earpiece. "Landwalker. Who speaks the water songs? We search for lost young one. Small swimmer with bright lights. You have seen." Yuna's heart began to race. They were looking for the creature she had saved. She nodded and pointed toward the tidal pools where she had found it. Yes, 3 days ago. Small one was trapped in shallow water. I moved it to deeper pool. The translation device converted her words into their musical language. The response was immediate and overwhelming. All 6 creatures began making excited sounds, their body lights flashing so brightly that the water around them glowed like liquid starlight. The leader's voice came through the translator again, but this time it sounded different, warmer, almost emotional. You saved young Minho, child of our tribe leader. We thought lost to dry death. You are friend of waters now. More creatures appeared in the water. Yuna counted at least 12 now, maybe more. They were all talking at once, creating a symphony of underwater music that the translation device could barely keep up with. One of the newer arrivals swam forward, and Yuna gasped in recognition. It was the small creature she had rescued now, swimming strongly alongside what was clearly its parent. The young one, Minho, had grown slightly in just 3 days, and its bioluminescent patches were brighter and more complex. Minho surfaced near the shore and made the same happy whistling sound Yuna remembered. Its lights pulsed in cheerful patterns as it swam in excited circles. The tribe leader, whom the others called Elder Hesso, spoke again through the translator. Minho tells story of landwalker kindness, rare thing in our long memory. Most surface dwellers take from ocean, you gave back to ocean. Yuna felt overwhelmed by the attention. She had simply done what felt right, but clearly it meant much more to these people than she had realized. I could not let Minho suffer, she said honestly. Any being with intelligence deserves help. Her words caused another stir among the gathered aliens. They spoke rapidly among themselves, and Yuna caught fragments through the translator. Words like wisdom and understanding and rare gift. Elder Heso floated closer to shore, close enough that Yuna could see the intricate details of its skin patterns. The silver markings seemed to shift and flow like living metal. You speak truth words, landwalker? Your kind usually sees only empty water where we see home, but you see deeper. You see the life beneath. Young Minho swam up beside its elder and chattered excitedly. Heso listened, then translated. Young one asks if you will visit our city beneath waves. Great honor. No surface dweller has ever been invited to swim down with the Nilani people. Yuna stared at the gathering of intelligent beings in the water before her. Just days ago she had thought she was alone on this world. Now she discovered an entire civilization living beneath the waves. Her scientific mind raced with questions and possibilities. I would be honored, she said finally, but I cannot breathe underwater like you. The creatures discussed this problem among themselves. Then Hiso's lights pulsed in what seemed like amusement. We know much about air breathers, landwalker Yuna. We have watched your kind from afar. We have ways to bring you safely to our realm. As if to demonstrate, several of the Nilani dove beneath the surface and returned carrying what looked like living bubbles made of some kind of transparent membrane. The bubbles pulsed gently, as if breathing. Bioshells, Heso explained. They share breath with you. Come tomorrow when Sunstar reaches high point. We will show you wonders your people have never dreamed. As the Nilani began to disappear back into the deeper waters, Minho surfaced one last time near Yuna. The young alien offered her another shell, this one larger and more beautiful than the first. Its surface showed tiny moving pictures of underwater cities and swimming figures. Yuna accepted the gift with wonder. Thank you, Minho. The young Nilani made happy sounds and dove away to rejoin its family. Soon the water was calm again, showing no sign of the extraordinary encounter. Walking back to her research station, Yuna realized her life had just changed forever. Tomorrow, she would become the first human to visit an alien civilization. Oh, because she had chosen compassion over protocol 3 days ago? The next morning, Yuna stood at the edge of the water wearing her diving suit and carrying her underwater breathing equipment. But when Elder Heso appeared with several other Nilani, they gestured for her to leave her heavy gear behind. Trust. In Bioshell, Heso said through the translator. Better than your metal breath makers. One of the younger Nalani swam forward carrying the living bubble Yuna had seen the day before. Up close, she could see it was not just a simple air pocket. The membrane was covered in tiny hair-like structures that moved constantly, filtering something from the water. Bioshell breathes water and makes air, Hasso explained. Ancient Nalani science. Safer than your hard shells? Yuna took a deep breath and stepped into the warm ocean water. The bioshell settled over her head and shoulders, like a second skin. Immediately she could breathe easily. The air inside was clean and fresh, somehow better than the air from her mechanical equipment. Young Minho swam excited circles around her, clearly proud to be showing off his home to the landwalker who had saved his life. The other Nalani formed a protective circle around Yuna as they began to swim away from shore. As they dove deeper, Yuna gasped at what she saw. The ocean floor was not empty rock and sand as she had expected. Instead, a vast city stretched out before her, built into and around massive coral formations that glowed with soft, natural light. Spires of living coral reached toward the surface, connected by flowing bridges that moved gently with the current. "Welcome to Nalani home," Hasso said, pride clear in the musical translation. 5,000 seasons old, grown, not built. Everywhere Yuna looked, she saw wonders that challenged everything she knew about architecture and engineering. Buildings that were clearly alive, their walls pulsing gently with internal rhythms. Gardens of sea plants arranged in complex patterns that hurt her eyes to look at directly, as if they contained mathematical secrets too advanced for her to understand. Hundreds of Nalani moved through the water around the city, their bioluminescent patterns creating a constant light show of communication. Children played games that involved creating complex light patterns with their bodies. Adults tended to creatures that looked like floating jellyfish but clearly served as living tools. "Your people did this without destroying the ocean," Yuna said in wonder. "You made your city part of the ecosystem." "Ocean is mother," Hasso replied. "Cannot hurt mother to make home. Must learn to live as part of ocean song." They swam through the main thoroughfares of the city, past markets where Nalani traded in goods Yuna could not identify. Some vendors sold what looked like bottled light. Others offered small creatures that seemed to be living jewelry, attaching themselves to their owners and creating beautiful patterns across their skin. Minho darted ahead and returned with an elder female whose silver markings were even more intricate than Hisso's. Her bioluminescent patches pulsed in slow, wise rhythms. "This is Tribe Mother Jiwan," Hasso introduced. "She who guides the young swimmers. She wishes to meet the landwalker who saved our future leader." Jiwan studied Yuna with ancient eyes, then spoke in rapid, complex tones. The translation device struggled to keep up with her sophisticated language. "She says your heart light is unusual for surface dweller," Hasso translated. "Most who come from above water think only of taking. You think of giving. This is wisdom trait, rare among your kind." Yuna felt humbled by the praise. "I only did what anyone should do. Minho needed help." Jiwan's response made several nearby Nalani flash their lights in what seemed like laughter. "She says this proves her point," Hasso explained. "You see helping as natural thing. But we have watched your people on other worlds. Taking is more natural to most surface dwellers than giving." This statement sent a chill through Yuna's body. "You have watched humans on other worlds. Nalani swim between stars as easily as between reefs," Jiwan said, her translator rendering her words with grave importance. "We have seen your kind strip worlds bare, poison oceans, kill thinking beings for metal treasures. This is why we hide when humans come." Yuna's mind raced with implications. If the Nalani could travel between stars, their technology was far beyond anything humans possessed. They could have destroyed the human research station easily if they had wanted to. "Why didn't you drive us away from your world?" she asked. "Hope," young Minho said, surprising everyone by speaking up. "Tribe Mother taught that maybe some surface dwellers different, maybe some have ocean hearts." Jiwan nodded approvingly at her student's words. Young Minho spoke truly. When he told story of your kindness, we decided to test this hope. One land walker with ocean heart might mean others exist. They continued swimming through the city, and Yuna saw more evidence of the Nolani's advanced civilization. Living computers that processed information using biological neural networks. Transportation tubes that carried riders on currents of controlled water. Art forms that existed in 4 dimensions, changing their meaning as time passed. In the center of the city stood a massive structure that seemed to be part building, part organism. It pulsed with deep rhythms that Yuna could feel in her bones. Heart of Home, Heso explained, connects all Nolani cities across the water worlds. Through this, we speak to our people on distant oceans. How many worlds do your people live on? Yuna asked, though she was almost afraid to hear the answer. 63 ocean worlds in this star cluster, Jawan replied. Many more beyond. Nolani are old people. We swam the star waters when your kind still crawled from dry caves. The implications hit Yuna like a cold wave. Humanity thought they were expanding into empty space, claiming uninhabited worlds. But the Nolani had been there first, hidden beneath the waves, watching human expansion with growing concern. Are we invading your territory? She asked quietly. Some worlds, yes, Jawan admitted, but we hoped for peace path. Your kindness to young Minho shows such path might exist. They swam to a quieter part of the city, where elder Nolani floated in meditation circles, their lights pulsing in synchronized patterns. Here, Jiwan shared the deepest truth. Great danger comes, she said. We have watched your war swimmers. Approaching this world, ships that carry world killers. They come to tear apart ocean floor for metal stones. Such action would destroy Nolani home and kill millions of our people. Yuna felt sick. She knew about the mining operations that were planned for this system. The company had told her this world was uninhabited. I didn't know, she said. My people don't know about your civilization. We know, Heso said gently. This is why we reveal ourselves to you. Ocean Heart, who saved our young, might find way to save our people. You are bridge builder between our kinds. As they began the swim back toward the surface, young Minho presented Yuna with a device that looked like living coral formed into a complex geometric shape. Communication gift, Jawan explained. We'll let you speak with us across any distance. When danger time comes, we will need human friend who understands both worlds. Surfacing near the shore as the sun began to set, Yuna removed the bioshell with reluctance. The natural air seemed thin and lifeless after breathing the perfected atmosphere the Nolani technology provided. Will you help us find peace path? Heso asked, looking back at the ocean that now held an entire civilization of thinking beings. Yuna knew her answer would change everything. Yes, she said, I will try. 2 weeks after visiting the underwater city, Yuna was working in her research station when the emergency communication system crackled to life. The voice that came through was crisp and military. Research Station Alpha 7, this is Admiral Taiho. Park of the Human Colonial Fleet. Please respond immediately. Yuna's heart sank. She had been dreading this moment since her conversation with the Nolani elders. She activated her transmitter with trembling hands. This is Dr. Yuna Kim, responding to Admiral Park. Dr. Kim, prepare for fleet arrival in 72 hours. We are bringing full mining and colonization equipment. Your job is to provide final environmental clearance for oceanic mineral extraction operations. The words hit Yuna like a physical blow. Oceanic mineral extraction would mean tearing apart the seafloor where millions of Nolani lived. It would be genocide on a scale humanity had never imagined. Admiral, I need to report some findings that might affect the mining operations, she sighed carefully. Negative, Dr. Kim. Your preliminary reports already cleared this system for development. We are not here for more research. We are here to begin extraction. Colonial Command needs those rare earth deposits. The communication ended with a harsh click, leaving Yuna alone with her thoughts and fears. Through her window she could see the ocean that looked peaceful and empty to human eyes, but she now knew teemed with intelligent life. That evening, She waded into the shallow water and activated the coral communication device the Nilani had given her. The device warmed in her hands and began to glow with soft, pulsing light. Within minutes, Elder Hesso appeared at the surface, accompanied by several other tribal leaders. Their bioluminescent patterns were flickering rapidly, a sign of agitation Yuna had learned to recognize. "War swimmers come soon," Hesso said without preamble. "Our fossils detect their metal songs 3-day swims away. They bring death machines to crack ocean floor." "I tried to warn them," Yuna said desperately. "But they won't listen. They think this world is empty." "We know," said another elder, whose name translated as Deep Current. "We hear their metal voices speaking of empty water and free-taking. They see only things, not beings." More Nilani appeared. In the water around them, Yuna had never seen so many gathered in one place. The ocean surface glowed like a field of living stars as hundreds of the aquatic people floated nearby, listening to the conversation that would determine their fate. "What will you do?" Yuna asked, though she feared the answer. Elder Hesso's patterns shifted to deeper, more ominous colors. "Nilani are peaceful people, but we are not helpless people. Our cities have defenses older than your civilization. We can sink every war swimmer your people send." A younger Nilani leader, whose markings indicated high military rank, spoke up. "Defense pods are already moving into position. We have weapons that turn metal to sand, electricity fields that stop all machines. Human ships would die quickly." "But we do not want war," Deep Current added quickly. "War means some Nilani die too. War means your people send more ships, bigger ships. War means no peace for anyone." "This is why we speak to you, Bridge Builder," Hesso said to Yuna. "You saved young Minho not for reward, but because life has value. We hope you can help us save many lives." "How?" Yuna asked. "The fleet admiral won't listen to me. I'm just a research scientist." "You understand both water people and land people," Deep Current explained. "You must find a way to make your people see us as real, as worthy of life. Make them understand that taking our home means taking our lives." The military-marked Nilani, who was introduced as Defense Leader Kyung, spoke with grim certainty. "If your people attack our cities, we will defend. Our weapons are ready? But if there is a peace path, we will try it first." "What kind of weapons do you have?" Yuna asked. Needing to understand the full scope of the situation, Kyung's bioluminescent patterns shifted into complex tactical displays, living ships that swim through space like water, energy songs that can make any metal crumble, bioweapons that eat the power cores of enemy vessels. "We defended ourselves from the destroyer race that came before your people. We can defend against humans too." The revelation that another species had already tried to attack the Nilani worlds was sobering. Humanity was walking into a conflict. They could not possibly win against a people who had already survived one attempt at genocide. "How long do we have?" Yuna asked. 3 days until war swimmers reach our outer sensors," Hesso replied. "After that, very little time before they begin cracking ocean floor. When first mining beam touches our city routes, defensive response will be automatic." Young Minho, who had been quiet until now, swam closer to shore. "Bridge Builder Yuna, can you bring Admiral Human to meet with us? Show him we are real people, not empty water things." "I can try," Yuna said, though her heart was heavy with doubt. "But human military leaders are not known for changing their minds easily." "Then we must give them reason to change," Deep Current said. "Show them we are not helpless. Show them we are not primitive. Show them that attack means their death, but peace means life for all." Defense Leader Kyung made a series of rapid clicks, and the water around the gathered Nilani began to change. What had appeared to be empty ocean now revealed itself to be filled with Nilani military craft. Sleek, organic-looking vessels that had been perfectly camouflaged against the seafloor now rose to the surface. The ships, if they could be called that, were like nothing in human technology. They moved through water with impossible grace, their hull skins rippling with bioluminescent patterns that served as both communication and camouflage. Some were as large as human destroyers, others small and quick like fighter craft. Defense Fleet has been watching your research station since you arrived, Kyung explained. Could have destroyed it any time, but we waited, hoped for peace path. Yuna stared at the casual display of overwhelming military superiority. The human mining fleet was walking into a trap they didn't even know existed. I will contact Admiral Park, she said finally. I'll tell him I've discovered intelligent life and request a meeting. But I need your promise that you won't attack. Unless they attack first. Agreed, Hesso said after consulting with the other leaders. But understand, bridge builder. If they fire on our cities or our people, the defense will be swift and total. We cannot allow another destroyer race situation. As the Nilani began to disperse back to their underwater realm, Minho swam up to Yuna one last time. Thank you for trying Peace Path, the young Nilani said. Even if it fails, you tried to save lives on both sides. This is true ocean heart behavior. Alone on the beach, Yuna looked up at the stars where the human fleet was approaching. In 3 days, 2 civilizations would meet in what could be either humanity's greatest diplomatic triumph, or its most devastating military defeat. She activated her long-range communicator and began composing the most important message of her life. Admiral Park, this is Dr. Kim with urgent priority communication. I have discovered intelligent alien life on this world. Repeat, intelligent alien life. We are not alone here, and they are not defenseless. We need to talk immediately. As she sent the message into space, Yuna could only hope that humanity's capacity for wisdom would prove stronger than its appetite for resources. Admiral Taiho Park's response came faster than Yuna had expected, and it was not what she had hoped to hear. Dr. Kim, we have received your claim about intelligent life. Our xenobiology experts have reviewed your previous reports and found no evidence to support this assertion. You will report to the flagship immediately upon our arrival for psychological evaluation. Mining operations will proceed as scheduled. Yuna stared at the message in disbelief. They thought she was having a mental breakdown. In less than 48 hours, the human fleet would arrive and begin operations that would trigger a war. Humanity could not win. She activated the Nilani communication device and was relieved to see Elder Hesso appear almost immediately. They don't believe me, she said without preamble. They think I'm sick in the mind. They're going to take me away and start mining anyway? Hiso's bioluminescent patterns shifted to deep, troubled colors. Then we must show them truth they cannot deny. How? Yuna asked desperately. You are bridge builder, Hesso replied. But bridge needs both sides to be strong. We make you strong with Nilani gifts. You make truth showing that cannot be ignored. Within hours, the shallow waters near Yuna's station were filled with activity. Young Minho arrived leading a group of Nilani engineers, their bio-lights flickering with excited planning patterns. Elder Jiwon came with historical data keepers carrying living memory storage creatures. Defense leader Kyung brought technical specialists whose bodies were modified with biological computers. We build proof package, Jiwon explained. History of Nilani people, star maps of our worlds, technology demonstrations, things that show we are real civilization, not water dreams in human mind. Minho, now noticeably larger and more mature than when Yuna had first saved him, took charge of the technical aspects. His rescue had made him something of a celebrity among young Nilani, and he had used his fame to study human technology. I learned to speak machine language of your computers, he said proudly. Can make Nilani knowledge work with human information systems. The next 36 hours were the most intense of Yuna's life. Working alongside the Nilani, she compiled evidence that would be impossible for the human fleet to ignore. High-resolution images of the underwater cities, detailed star charts showing Nilani settlements across dozens of worlds. Most importantly, real-time demonstrations of Nilani technology that surpassed human engineering by centuries, but Minho had an even more ambitious plan. We make meeting space, he explained. Underwater dome where Admiral Human can breathe air. But see Nilani City around him, cannot deny what eyes show him. The construction was a marvel of bioengineering. Nalani workers grew a living structure in the shallows near Yuna's station, a transparent dome that could maintain human atmosphere while providing a perfect view of the underwater city beyond Dot as they worked. Defense leader Kyung shared troubling intelligence. Our far swimmers report human war fleet is larger than expected, he said. 12 large ships, many smaller ones. They carry enough firepower to crack this world in half. Can your defenses handle that many ships? Yuna asked. Yes, Kyung replied grimly, but human deaths would be in thousands. Such slaughter would bring more human fleets, bigger weapons. War spiral with no end. This is why peace path is only path, Elder Hesso added. War means death for many, victory for none. On the morning the human fleet arrived, Yuna stood on her platform and watched the sky fill with metal ships. They hung in orbit like angry stars, their weapons pointed at the peaceful world below. Her communicator buzzed with an incoming message from Admiral Park. Dr. Kim, you will report to Shuttle Bay coordinates I am transmitting. Bring all research materials. For review, any delay will be considered insubordination. Instead of responding directly, Yuna activated the most powerful transmitter the Nalani had provided her. The message she sent went not just to Admiral Park, but to every ship in the fleet, and through quantum communication links to Colonial Command itself. Admiral Park and Colonial Fleet, this is Dr. Yuna Kim. I am transmitting comprehensive proof of intelligent alien civilization on this world. The people are called Nalani. They are peaceful but powerful, and they are willing to meet with you. Coordinates for meeting location are attached. The future of human-alien relations depends on your decision. Along with her words, the transmission carried terabytes of data compiled by the Nalani engineers. Video feeds from their cities, translations of their historical records, demonstrations of their technology, and most importantly, tactical analysis showing the defensive capabilities hidden beneath the waves. The response from orbit was swift and angry. Dr. Kim, you are ordered to cease unauthorized transmissions immediately. Psychological evaluation teams are en route to your location. But other voices began to join the communication channel. Ship captains who had seen the data. Science officers who recognized the implications. Even some military commanders who understood the tactical situation. Admiral, came the voice of Captain Sunmi Lee from one of the escort vessels. Sir, this data appears genuine. We may be looking at first contact with a superior alien civilization. The xenobiology scans are conclusive, added another voice. There are massive biomechanical structures beneath the ocean surface. Whatever is down there, it's not natural. Admiral Park's voice cut through the growing discussion with military authority. I will examine this supposed evidence personally. Dr. Kim, you will remain at your station for immediate interrogation. All fleet operations are suspended pending. My investigation, Yuna felt a mixture of relief and terror. She had bought time, but now everything depended on the next few hours. Young Minho surfaced near the communication platform where Yuna waited. Admiral Human comes with war guards, he reported. 6 metal flyers with weapons ready. He fears trap. Can you blame him? Yuna replied. From his perspective, I might be a traitor working with hostile aliens. Then we show him truth that changes perspective, Elder Hesso said, appearing beside Minho. Ready the demonstration dome. Time for human leader to see what his war machines would destroy. As the human shuttles descended toward the ocean surface, Nalani defense ships rose from the depths. But instead of aggressive formations, they arranged themselves in a clearly ceremonial pattern, their bioluminescent hulls creating a corridor of living light leading to the meeting dome. Admiral Park's shuttle landed on the floating platform the Nalani had grown overnight. As he stepped out, flanked by armed Marines, his eyes widened at the sight of the organic architecture surrounding him. Dr. Kim, he said tersely, you have some explaining to do. Yes, sir, Yuna replied. But first, I want you to meet the people who actually own this world. Elder Hesso emerged from the water at the edge of the platform, his silver markings gleaming in the sunlight. When he spoke, the translation device rendered his words in perfect diplomatic language. Welcome, Admiral Park of the Human Colonial Fleet. I am Elder Hesso of the Nolani people. We greet you in peace, but we meet you in strength. Your people are welcome in our waters if you come as friends rather than conquerors. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Tejo Park found himself speechless. The meeting dome beneath the waves was unlike anything Admiral Park had ever experienced. Surrounded by the transparent bio walls, he found himself breathing normal air while watching an alien city pulse with life around him. Hundreds of Nolani swam past the dome walls, their bioluminescent patterns creating a constant display of living art. "This is impossible," he whispered, his military composure finally cracking. "Sir," said Captain Lee, who had accompanied him into the dome, "the structural engineering alone suggests technology centuries beyond our capabilities." Elder Hesso floated gracefully outside the dome, his translated voice carrying clearly through the bioacoustic system. "What you see, Admiral Park, is home to 12 million Nolani on this world alone. Your mining machines would destroy it all in less than one season." Admiral Park was a career military man, trained to make quick decisions under pressure, but nothing in his experience had prepared him for this situation. The tactical briefings from his intelligence officers had been clear. The alien defenses were overwhelming. His fleet could not win a fight against the Nolani. But more importantly, he was beginning to understand that this was not a fight that should be won. Young Minho swam up to the dome, his patterns bright with curiosity. When he spoke, his youth was evident in his eager tone. "Admiral Human, I am Minho, child saved by bridge builder Yuna, because she chose life over law rules. Now we all choose peace over war. This is human heart wisdom, yes?" The Admiral looked at Yuna, who had remained quiet during the formal introductions. "Dr. Kim, when you saved this person, did you know what it would lead to?" "No, sir," Yuna replied honestly. "I just saw someone who needed help. I never imagined it would prevent a war." Elder Jiwan appeared beside Hesso, her ancient patterns pulsing with the wisdom of centuries. "This is the gift your species brings to the Star Ocean. Admiral Park, other races we have met think first of power, of taking, of winning, but some humans think first of helping. This is rare wisdom in the galaxy." "How many other species have you encountered?" Captain Lee asked, her scientific curiosity overcoming military protocol. 47 intelligent species in this star region," Defense Leader Kyung answered, materializing from the darker waters. "Most are conquest-minded, resource-hungry, danger to smaller peoples. We hide from them, fight them if necessary. But humans might be different." Admiral Park absorbed this information with growing understanding. Humanity was not alone in the galaxy, and they were far from the most powerful species. The Nolani had been evaluating human potential as either allies or threats. "What do you want from us?" he asked directly. Elder Hesso's patterns shifted to formal diplomatic colors. "Partnership, not conquest. Your people have gifts we value. Curiosity-seeking, protection instinct for smaller beings, willingness to sacrifice for others. These are treasure traits in the dark spaces between stars. And in return," Jiwan added, "we offer knowledge sharing, technology exchange, protection alliance. The galaxy is a dangerous place for young species. You need friends among the star swimmers." Minho eagerly swam closer to the dome. "I want to learn human sciences," he declared. "Bridge builder Yuna teaches that knowledge sharing makes all people stronger." Over the next several hours, Admiral Park received an education in galactic politics that changed his entire worldview. The Nolani shared information about hostile alien empires that would view humanity as either slaves or resources. They showed him star maps of safe passages through dangerous space. Most importantly, they offered humanity a place in a defensive alliance of younger species. "The choice is simple," Elder Hesso explained. "Stay alone and small, eventually be conquered by destroyer races, or join with allies and grow strong together." Admiral Park activated his communicator to address his fleet. "All ship commanders. This is Admiral Park. Operation Oceanic Extract is permanently canceled. We are now conducting first contact diplomatic procedures with an advanced alien civilization. Prepare for new mission parameters. The response from his captains was immediate and positive. Word of the Nilani technology and defensive capabilities had spread through the fleet. Everyone understood that humanity had narrowly avoided a catastrophic mistake, but the real work was just beginning. Over the following weeks, Yuna found herself at the center of the most important diplomatic mission in human history. Her small research station was expanded into a joint human-Nilani facility, with bioengineered structures that could accommodate both air-breathing and water-breathing beings. Young Minho became her first student, learning human science with the same enthusiasm he had once shown for swimming. In return, he taught her the basics of Nilani bioengineering, showing her how living technology could solve problems that human machines could not. "Look," Minho said one day, showing Yuna a small creature that glowed softly in his hands. "Biocomputer for space navigation. Lives for 1,000 years, never breaks, learns from experience. Better than human metal brains." Elder G1 established a cultural exchange program, with young Nilani learning human languages while human scientists studied Nilani history. The discoveries were revolutionary for both species. "Your people are builders," Jawan observed during one of their sessions. "You make things to last, create monuments to your achievements. We Nilani are growers. We make things that live, that change, that improve with time. Together we can make wonders neither could achieve alone." Defense leader Kyung worked with Admiral Park to establish joint defense protocols. The human fleet would remain in the system, not as conquerors but as partners in a mutual protection agreement. "Destroyer race fleets have been spotted in nearby systems," Kyung warned during one of their strategy meetings. "They seek worlds to strip mine, peoples to enslave. But combined human-Nilani forces would be strong deterrent." 6 months after first contact, the joint colony was thriving. Human engineering combined with Nilani biotechnology had created structures that were both beautiful and functional. Gardens that cleaned water while providing food. Buildings that generated their own power through biological processes. Transportation systems that worked in harmony with the ocean ecosystem. Yuna often stood on the observation deck of the main facility, watching human children play alongside young Nilani in specially designed pools. The sight never failed to amaze her. Admiral Park, now bearing the title of Human Ambassador to the Nilani Alliance, joined her one evening as the twin moons rose over the peaceful ocean. "Dr. Kim," he said, "I owe you an apology. And more than that, I owe you thanks. If you had followed standard protocols that day you found Minho, the universe would be a lonelier place," Yuna finished, "and humanity would have made its first alien contact by committing genocide. Instead," Park replied, "we found our first allies among the stars." In the water below, Minho surfaced and waved at them, his bioluminescent patterns spelling out human words he had learned. "Hello, friends," flashed across his skin in cheerful blues and greens. Yuna waved back, then looked up at the stars where she knew other Nilani worlds waited, and where other young species might be taking their first steps into the galaxy. "This is just the beginning," she said softly. Young Minho, now serving as a junior ambassador between the species, swam up to the edge of the platform. His patterns had grown more complex as he matured, but his enthusiasm remained unchanged. "Bridge builder. Yuna," he said, "tomorrow we receive message from Nilani High Council. They want to meet other human friends. Want to share alliance treaties with Earth Homeworld." Yuna smiled, remembering the small, struggling creature she had lifted from a tidal pool not so long ago. That simple act of compassion had grown into something that would change the fate of 2 civilizations and possibly many more. "Tell them yes," she said. "Humanity is ready to join the wider galaxy." As the bioluminescent patterns of the Nilani city below painted the water in living light, Yuna knew that her people had found their place among the stars, not through conquest or superior technology, but through the most human trait of all, The willingness to help a stranger in need. In the depths of space, the universe had become a little less lonely.